Hi again, you guys. Thanks so much for watching my first video. I gotta say, this sounds really nerdy, but it's like such an ecstatic feeling, like watching people, views go up and watching people, take interest in something that you're interested in. And it just, oh, excuse me, it just was very motivating to me, and I really appreciate it. That was actually a video that I made a couple days ago, but I didn't put it up till now because I wasn't sure on, how to get started, or, are people going to take an interest in this? And, you're just very self-critical at the beginning of the process, I guess. And so, yeah, but thanks so much for watching the first video. I might not have 1 billion subscribers, but that's not what I'm going for. I'm looking just to create a conversation, and not just something for myself, but for other people that are around the same age as me. And the first thing that I want to discuss, I want to give some background as to the person that I am. Right now, I'm 19 years old. I'm a recent graduate from high school. Well, not that recent, about a year ago. And I've gone through a lot of, I'm not going to say difficult periods of time. Here's one thing, just a disclaimer, something I want to put out there for all the videos that I'm going to be doing. Don't put down someone else's problems. Don't say, at least you don't have to do so and so. Don't diminish someone else's personal issues. Everyone goes through something different, and just because you have this struggle doesn't mean that they have any less of a struggle, because we can go on for hours comparing how this person deals with more than you do, and we're just here to really gain more of an insight about each other and not be judgmental. And obviously that's a difficult thing to achieve because natural state of human beings is judgment. So but anyways, just to give some background on myself, I'm 19 years old. Obviously I am a girl. Hopefully I don't look like a boy. And let's see, I'm currently in college. I'm from New York, not New York City, somewhere in the upstate region, which should leave you guys guessing. And I used to be a straight A student. I was a straight A student all throughout high school, up until my junior year, when I dealt with a lot of difficulties. Which is the most important year, probably the end of my junior year. This is the kind of thing I want to talk about. I mean, I didn't deal with any huge issues, but my junior year was when my last sibling left, and he went off to college, and I was just there alone with my parents, and me and my brother had the closest relationship, and my family is very, very religious, so it was difficult in high school to make friends, because being very religious, I think, sets a boundary. It really creates a very difficult, at least for me, this is my outlook right now, it always created for me difficulties. Instead of, I didn't always see the love and, the great things that come out of religion. I only focused on negativity, which is an issue. There are a lot of great things about being religious, but I definitely dealt in high school dealing a lot with, being called the religious girl and missing out on a lot of things because I was religious. I never had the opportunity to have a close friend because people, I think, were threatened by me, or they didn't know really where to place me. They didn't know how to categorize me, which is something I really notice about people, is the need to categorize other people and the need to put them in a genre, which is unfortunate, but that's the truth. And I just dealt with a lot of problems, as far as that. And once my brother left, I was very lonely, and it was hard for me, and it was hard for me to want to continue making something of myself. It was, because I was under this household where I had to continue becoming religious, and yet I no longer had that support from my brother. We used to just be like, this is fine, we're going to come to a day when, we'll be around other religious people, and it'll be okay, and we'll make friends easier, and we won't be missing out on so many things. And it was difficult. I think anyone deals with that issue of a sibling leaving, even if you're not a religious person, but for me in particular, it was hard. And you know, towards my senior year, I started developing more and more questions. I became very, immersed into philosophy, which, to this day, I'm not sure if that's the best thing. I don't know if philosophy is healthy for people. I think I found myself asking more and more questions and getting farther and farther away from an answer. And, I think that's, though, a stage that every single person goes through in their life, is questions and asking questions. And even if, they don't see an end point, it's comforting in the moment to ask the question. And so I asked a lot of questions, and I went on to college. Obviously, my last 2 years didn't hurt me. I was a very strong student before that, and still a very good test taker. So as far as Regents, which is a New York State test, I did astoundingly well on those, which helped me. And, I made my way onto a state university and my first year, and I found myself lost very quickly. I came from an isolated background where, I went from watching foreign movies with my parents on Saturday nights, because, my dad is a foreign film buff, to going to parties and being immersed into an environment where there was drinking, it was just abundant. It was everywhere, and partying and sex and drugs, and it was just the norm, and that's the honest truth. And I thought to myself, this isn't something I've ever experienced. Why not experience it now? Go for it. And so I jumped into it, and I lost myself, and I think that's the honest truth. And the one thing that I realized about myself was, the more and more that I tried to break rules or go against the societal norms, the more that I tried to break through something. That's what I thought I was doing. I thought I was finding happiness. The more that I searched and tried to go towards, becoming happy, the more I realized that I was farther away from it. And it's a very upsetting thought, because you think that this is what's going to attain you happiness. And really, at the end of the day, what is happiness? I actually want that to be a question. Give me your ideas on what happiness are below. Post a comment about what you believe happiness is at this stage in your life. And, name your age, say your age, say your gender, and then say what you believe happiness is. Because I think that would be interesting to see how gender and age link to one's definition of happiness. Because at this point in time, I'm so confused as to what that is. Is it having structure? Is it seeing that you're going somewhere in your life? Is it, having a boyfriend? Or is it a guy calling you cute? Or is it, buying a new dress? Or I'm not trying to be stereotypical of like girls and boys, but really, what is it? What is happiness? And I went through that struggle for a while, and I found myself caring less and less about academics and more about getting out there and going to a good party. And, I started to lie to my family, and I started to not tell them exactly what was going on with me and what I was doing. And I pretended that I was on track, and I pretended to be like I was going somewhere, and just to keep them satisfied so that I could continue living this secret life where I inspect all the avenues of life. And I definitely had some laughs. I had some great moments where I was happy, and I don't know if those were happiness, but I had moments where I was smiling, where I was laughing, but I had a lot of other moments too. And yeah, and it's just, what I realized was, adults' outlook on teenagers is not realistic, and their outlook on the people we're supposed to be and the functions and the things that we're supposed to do, it's not a realistic thing. I mean, no one follows a format. We're not all similar. There are hundreds of different more than that, hundreds of thousands and billions of different personalities, and not any one of us follows a certain format. So, leave a comment below about what you think, what you'd like to hear about in my next video. I hope this touched you guys in some way, and leave a comment below about happiness and what you think it is, or write about a personal struggle that you went through and how you got through it. Again, thanks so much for watching. I love all you guys. I'm so excited about this, and I hope you guys continue watching. Okay, bye you guys.